So that was tuple. Now we'll head on to the second data structure, which is a list. So list is an ordered collection of elements enclosed within square braces. So the difference between a list and a tuple is tuples are immutable. That means that they cannot be changed or the values inside it cannot be modified once they're created. But when it comes to a list is mutable. That means that the values inside it can be modifiable as and when we want. So let's go ahead and work with this list. Now let me go ahead and create the list. I'll type in L1 over here and let me pass in the elements. So I'll type in a numeric element and then I'll type in Sparta because it's my favorite word, as you guys might have guessed till now. And then I'll give in a floating point number, which is 3.14, again my favorite floating point number. Then I'll give in a Boolean value, which is true. And finally, I'll give in a complex value, which would be 3 plus 5j. So this is our list over here, which is ready. Let me just print it out, L1. Now, just to be sure, this is actually a list. Let me check the type of it. So I'll type in L1. So we see that this is a list. So we have successfully created our first list. Now let's see how can we extract individual elements from a list. Well, again, it's the same thing when we compare it with a tuple or a string. So the indexing starts with 0. So if you want to extract the first element present in the list, the index needs to be 0. If you want to extract the second element, the index needs to be 1. So over here, I want to extract the second element, which is A. So obviously the index would be 1. So over here, I am extracting the second element. Similarly, if I want to extract a sequence of elements, so over here, I want to extract these 3 elements. So for this, the index starts at 2 and it will go on till 5 because it will be 2, 3, and 4. And since 4 is actually exclusive, it will not be included. So you would have to also include 5. That is when we'll be able to extract 2, B, and 3. So let's go ahead and extract some individual elements from our list. So let me just print in the list over here again. All right, now I want to extract the last element. So I'll type in L1, I'll give in the parenthesis, and I'll give in -1. So we have successfully extracted the last element. Now I want to extract these 3 elements, Sparta, 3.14, and true. So again, the name of the list and the index starts at 1. So we'll go from 1, 2, 3, and 4. So let me just put in 4 over here. Right, so Sparta, 3.14, and true. I have successfully extracted these elements. Now we'll see how can we modify a list. So as I've already told you, list is mutable. That means that you can go ahead and change the values which are present inside a list. So now our task would be to replace the value which is present at the 0th index. So over here, the value which is present at 0th index initially is 1. So I want to change it to 100. So I'll just give in the index number inside the parenthesis and then pass in the value 100, and we are successfully able to change this value. Now similarly, if you want to add an element at the end of a list, we can use this append method. So I'll type in L1.append and I am appending this new word Sparta into this. Or similarly, if I want to pop out the last element, we can use the pop method. So over here you see that C is the last element, and when I use the pop method on top of this list, I'm able to pop this element out. So we see that now once C is popped out, we've got 3 as the last element. Let's perform all of these in Jupyter Notebook. So this is what we have over here. So let me just type in L1 again. So as of now, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 elements. So I want to change this value from 1 to 100. So that is present at index number 0. So L1 parenthesis index number 0, and I am assigning it a value of 100. Now let me print out L1 over here. So we see that we have changed this value from 1 to 100. Now similarly, I want to add an element at the end of this list. So for that, I would have to use the append method. So L1.append, and I will be appending hello world. I'll type in hello world, and then let me print out L1 over here. Right, so I have added this element. Now I also want to pop out the new element which I've added. So all I have to do is type in L1.pop, and then I'll print L1 again. Let me put the bracket over here. Right, so as you see, we had added this hello world, and also with the help of this pop method, we were able to pop this out. Now we'll work with some more functions. So we'll see how to reverse a list, how to insert an element to the specified index, and also how to sort a list. So to reverse the elements of a list, we've got this reverse method. So all you have to do is use the dot operator and invoke this reverse method. So here you see that it starts as 1, A, 2, B, 3, and C, and once the list is reversed, you get this result. So you got C, 3, B, 2, A1. So this is reversed, and then we get this. Now after reversing the elements of a list, let's say we want to add an element at a specified index. So over here, I want to add this element Sparta at index number 1. So initially at index number 1, the element was A. Now instead of that, I want to add Sparta. So I'll use the insert method. This takes in 2 parameters. First parameter is the index that we want to insert the element. Second is the element itself. So again, I'm printing it out. You see that we have inserted Sparta over here, and the rest of the elements, so their index has been incremented with 1. So this was at index number 1. Now it has shifted to index number 2. This was at index number 2. This has shifted to index number 3. So this is what happens when you insert an element to a specified index. Then we'll see how to sort a list. So all you have to do is use the sort method. So we'll use L1, and then we'll type in L1.sort. So we see that all of these elements have been sorted in alphabetical order. So apple, banana, guava, and mango. So let me print out L1 over here. So this is our list. Now I'd have to reverse this. So I'll type in L1.reverse. I'll hit enter. Now let me print L1. So right, this was the initial list over here. And after invoking the reverse method on top of this list, we see that the list has been reversed. Now we'll see how to sort a list. So I will create a new list over here. So L1, and I'll put in square braces. Let me add in some random words over here. So first word would be et. Second word would be lion. Then we've got maybe king. After that, we've got ball. And then we've got all. Right, so this is our list over here. Now let me go ahead and sort this. So I'll type in L1.sort. Let me also print in L1 over here. So this is our sorted list. So all at ball, king, and lion, right? So this is in sorted order. Now we'll see how can we add a new element at a specified index. So let's say I want to add a new element at the 0th index. So I'll just type in L1, and then I will add. So this will be insert. So let me type in insert over here, and I want to insert an element at index number 0, and the element which I want to insert is Sparta again. I have clicked on run. Now let me again print out L1. right? So I have successfully inserted Sparta over here, and as you see, the index for all of the rest of the elements has been incremented with respect to 1. Now let's see how can we concatenate two lists and repeat the elements of a list. So it's the same thing again. So let's say we've got L1 and L2 over here, and if I want to concatenate these two lists, I'll just add the plus operator between these two. So I've got 1, 2, 3 over here, and then I concatenate it with A, B, and C. Similarly, if I have to repeat the elements of a list, all I have to do it is multiply it with a number. So I'm multiplying it with 3. So when I multiply it with 3, I have this repeated 3 times. Now let me create my list over here. So L1 equals, I'll just give in some sequence of numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So now I'd have to create another list L2, and the numbers in this would be 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. So we've got our two lists ready over here. Now I'll just type in L1 plus L2. So I've got this final list, right? So I have concatenated L2 with L1. Now let me see what happens if I type L2 plus L1 instead of L1 plus L2. So as you see, I have the elements of L2 first, followed by elements of L1. Right, now I want to go ahead and repeat the elements inside a list. So I want to repeat the elements of the list L1. So I'll type in L1 into 5. So this is what I have. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, first set, second, third, fourth, and then I've got my fifth set over here. Right, now this is how we can work with the basic operations of a list.